And we're back. Awesome.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm researching. I'm sorry. I'm like heavy into that.
typical dungeon master.
I know. I'm actually
Typical.
researching the question that I asked earlier, which is, did the apothecary have a name? The problem is, you talked that whole time, and I couldn't hear our YouTube video at all.
My bad.
I don't know how to mute you guys in Zoom.
You have to leave the audio
Oh,
entirely.
yeah, okay. That takes a step.
Learning new things every day.
I
So,
know, right?
All right.
so guess we'll transition into what we've started to call group therapy,
Mm.
and this is to check in with each of the characters at this point in the story. And I'll go ahead and start with Eigner. Eigner's very concerned right now because the bite that he suffered from Baron's severed head inside the helmet, it has infected and spread some gross black stuff all over his arm. That is his shield arm. And being a protection fighter, this is a big deal for him. And he won't be able to protect his buddies if he doesn't have his motherfucking shield arm. And Onn offered to amputate, and that's just like not an option. You know what I mean? So he is in much distress, and he is hoping against hope that this apothecary has some kind of answer for him, because he doesn't have the ability to take care of it himself. Go.
Cool.
Someone.
Go ahead and go on because you're much more involved in this episode than Alton was.
Then, yeah. So on freaked out a lot over the last few sessions. He's had a bit of a weird patch. But the main thrust of his fear, the vampire, has been dealt with. And the helmet threat also done away with. So as far as Onn is concerned now, everything's calm again. Everything's kind of reached this equilibrium. So he's fine just getting on with the job again without any fear holding him back. It's not clear to him what the whole... or rather, it's clear to him that everything that's happened in this town, all of the shenanigans, including the helmet, everything is all connected to the vampire. Everything. It's all his fault. Absolutely everything. And now that he's gone, there's nothing else to fear. That's not likely to actually be the case. Yeah, so Alton thinks that the evil's past. Everything's fine. We're just going to find this magical artifact.
Onn thinks that? You said Alton.
Yes.
Yeah, just...
Did I say Alton?
Yeah, you said Alton. It was...
I apologize. I meant Onn.
Don't confuse people.
What is it with me and names today? It was like Elaine and Ethel and Alton and Onn.
We'll get it straight.
Or you won't,
But, yeah.
and then you're just stuck without it straight.
It's always going to be this weird naming thing. But yeah, On just wants to crack on with the job, and this weird diversion with Eigner wanting to keep his arm. I mean, God, overly attached much? Yeah, that's on.
Okay, so Alton is actually in a surprising headspace this time. So between his decision to opt out during the beginning of the vampire fight and Eigner's arm being messed up, that he wasn't really what's what I'm looking for, kind of really, I guess, like really focused on or concerned about at the time. He was just like whatever, and now it's kind of becoming a thing. He's kind of starting to become concerned with the group and kind of like his role in his distance from it, and it's not a feeling that he's used to. This is as close to being a part of a group that he's ever been, which is sad on so many, very many levels. Because this is not a group. This is a loose association of people that kind of barely tolerate each other. And so he is so he has a growing concern. He has a growing concern for his role in the party and uh, the cohesion of the unit and everything. So he's starting to take the group a little bit more seriously. You guys don't know that yet, but that's what's going on in his head.
We don't know anything about what's going on in his head. No clue. No clue at all.
Yeah.
Well, Eridu has decided to stop using books and follow up on some D&D Beyond so that his thoughts aren't so scattered.
Right?
Oh wait, that's Asa.
Oh wait.
Eridu is feeling very concerned for his party members as now he kind of knows what's happening. There you go.
Don't. Are you okay? You're breaking like some kind of fourth wall or something like.
Well, you guys know Ethel talked to Eridu. In the
Oh
dream,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
maybe we'll ask a little more. Maybe we could ask Ethel to like see Eridu's dreams. Do we want to see that? Do
Well, first off, Ethel went off to go deal with stuff because you remember the helmet showed up, and then she got all like, "Oh shit, my life just got screwed,"
Yup.
because someone close to her was supposed to be taking care of that helmet,
Mm-hmm.
and so she ran off after you made saving your arm a priority. She's like, "Okay, go do that. I'm gonna go do a thing. Go find this guy." Because that's where his family tomb is, where the artifact is at.
Uh-huh.
Go find him, get access to his tomb. Go get it. So yeah, as people do, they don't tell you stuff.
No.
All right. So
Oh, but was that the tomb? I don't remember if we asked. Was that tomb in town or was it towards the Twin
It's in
Harbors?
town.
yeah,
Okay.
it was definitely in town. That was the whole plot
Okay.
with Drew's game with him going into the village and actually finding the tomb there.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. So you guys are currently at Sven's Head, where the apothecary was last at, because he was treating Tecker.
Hmm.
He has, I believe, he has his tools and implements there, and you guys are in the main room, and he is examining Eigner's arm at the moment. And now remember, you took off your chainmail shirt,
Mm-hmm.
forcing yourself into a lot more excruciating pain than need be by ripping the chain links out of your injury.
Mm-hmm.
Something the apothecary told you, I could have done that, and it would have been a lot less painful.
Yeah, Eigner is very rash. Let us say. Let us say that.
So you're now sitting there just in your sweaty undershirt.
No, he's bare chested.
Oh, all right. The room that would be really uncomfortable. Chainmail on like just the nips.
Dude, a lot of
Ooh.
chafing.
No, I mean he took off his undershirt also because he wants to show
Oh.
off his hot human body.
I see.
You know.
Oh,
So
well,
he
I'm
looks
imagining
like a
it the other
Roman
way.
gladiator.
Well, maybe
Like
not.
a real Roman gladiator.
Maybe not that hunky. He's got like more of a dad bod thing going on.
Dude, no, that's what Roman gladiators would look like.
Okay.
Like you think about how much they needed to protect their
Yeah.
this area. Anywho, actual history aside. So you're sitting there in this room that's way hotter than it probably should be. With the heat of the day and the heat of the fire that burned this helmet. And this old man is kneeling over you, examining your arm, making the occasional like twitch of the eyes as he's examining everything within a few and interesting. And you see behind him a shadowy figure. Its long hair drops down in non-defined but what could possibly be dreadlocks as it kneels closer to your injury, examining it with the same intensity that this old man is.
Does it have any kind of resemblance to what I was like almost seeing back in Sven's head?
When you burned the helmet.
When I burned the helmet, I had that like sense that there was a shadowy figure watching me.
Oh,
Do I have a sense
yeah.
like this is the same kind of thing going on?
It's definitely the same kind of thing going on.
It is definitely the same kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Um, I will not say anything out loud, but I will direct my thoughts and my intention and will toward the shadowy dreadlocked creature and just say, I don't know what you want, but this is really not a good time.
It turns its head toward you, and you can hear the smile in the voice, although its features aren't distinguished enough to see them. And it says, "You know, I could heal this for you. I have a lot more knowledge than this man here." And he rests a hand on the old man's shoulders.
Hmm.
Um, and as he does, the old man has a moment of like, just absolutely freezes,
Hmm.
and his eyes kind of like haze out for a second, and then he goes back to examining your arm.
Hmm. I'm not interested in any bargains. Leave me be.
Well, if that's what you really want, I'm sure there are more interesting things in this town for me to go and look after. Maybe I could get this man here to, escort me around. As he says that, you can see his hands start to sink into the old man's shoulders.
Stop. Are you that...
No, no.
Stop. Are you that desperate for someone to torment? What sick, sick creature are you?
It's not torment. It's just a little bit of entertainment.
If you must torment someone, then let it be me.
His hand comes out of the man's shoulder, and he regards you very firmly and says, "You would allow me in willingly."
Not willingly, but as a necessary evil. I'm not afraid of you, and I would rather you torment me than any other unfortunate soul.
Hmm. What an interesting observation.
I'm sure I'll give you many surprises.
All right, let's just see how this goes. He rests his hand on your hand, the one that has the ring, and then the whole shadowy figure, like smoke being sucked into like a vacuum cleaner. He just sucks right into the ring, and is gone.
I don't like that.
The old man.
That has implications.
It does.
Shit. Okay.
The old man
The
looks
old
up at
man.
you with clear eyes and says, "Well, I have good news and I have bad news.
Bad news first.
Bad news first. Uh, this disease that you have contracted is it's not something that I can cure right now. I can at best slow it down for the time being until we can get to somebody with some more magical training. If you will.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is you won't lose the arm,
Hmm.
and I can slow this down to a point that you might feel a little weaker than normal, but otherwise it shouldn't be spread in any lethal way.
I would much appreciate that.
Of course, he takes the time to go through his tools and put together. You've seen Onn do this stuff with his own alchemical, or not alchemic, but his own herbalist kit.
Yeah.
He makes up an herbal concoction and shoves it into the wound itself,
Mm-hmm.
pours a potion over top of it, and that potion kind of starts to harden on your flesh.
Mm.
And then he wraps the whole thing in a bandage. Um, and then lifting and moving that arm it just feels like you it's just much weaker. It seems like a lot of the effort that's going into moving the arm is just moving the arm, and like lifting much and carrying much with that arm is going to be difficult.
Hmm. Okay. Um, I will request some extra rolls of bandages from the apothecary if he is willing to spare them. I can even reimburse him some silver pieces.
Thank you. Payment for my deeds is appreciated. And he takes your money and gives you more bandages.
Mm-hmm. How much do you think is reasonable? Off the top of your head.
What are you looking for? An actual?
Well, extra rolls of bandages, and just like compensating him for his service.
I don't care about that. Just
8 silver pieces.
that sounds fair. I mean, in all intents and purposes, you've essentially just tipped him. So whatever you give him, he'll
Yeah,
take.
gave him a tip for sure.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm considering how I'm going to deal with having a weaker arm, but at least I have the arm.
Yes. There is a mechanical aspect to that.
I can't use the shield.
Can't use the shield, and your strength checks are made at disadvantage because you're essentially doing them one-armed.
Okay, is that it? You're not going to give me like a level of exhaustion or anything?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Onn still has a level of exhaustion
He's so exhausted.
from the night of sleep he did not get, which it's only been a day.
Yeah. That's listed on my notes, but I don't think we actually kept it going last session.
I don't think so either.
I may have forgotten. But yes.
I don't
like
think
for-
you did any skill checks.
Yeah, it's only skill checks, not attack rolls or anything.
Yeah, very few of them anyway, if any.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Onn, the apothecary will, after bandaging up and dealing with Eigner, will turn to you and say, "Did you want to check on your friend? Make sure that he's doing all right?"
I have no idea what it is you're talking about. Perhaps you've taken a few too many of your own vapors. We are very busy, and I don't have any friends that I'm wanting to check on.
Oh, I love on moments. I love it. Keep going. Keep going.
I just had thought that the young man whose life you saved, you would be interested in checking in on him. That's all.
Oh, he is not my friend at all. He's barely even an acquaintance. He's just someone that I met fairly recently, and I wanted to make sure that his arm was healed.
Oh.
You really should learn to have a bit of professional, dispassionate concern for people. If you start making best friends with lots and lots of people, that's a lot of people's beds you need to stand over at night.
While this is going on, I'm gonna go check on him.
He gives you a wary smile and pats you on the shoulder and says, "It's probably for the best. The young man is sleeping now anyway."
Oh, then he definitely wouldn't be my friend.
With that, the apothecary is just gonna gather up his things and leave the inn.
As well he should.
It is hands down my favorite running gag of all time now.
It's t-shirt worthy.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Anyway,
Sorry, I'm dying real quick. Give me a second.
Don't
Is that
do
the face
that.
of Peter Molyneux?
Dude, I have no idea.
I don't know. Well,
Twitch emojis are pretty interesting. Get used to them.
All right. So, now that On's arm is healed,
No, Eigner's arm is healed.
Ignorance is.
On's arm is doing well too.
Yep. My arm's fine. It's the only arm that matters. So.
There were still things that you guys needed to set to doing. What would you like to do?
Eigner, was it kind of established that he had the ability to like send out a little mental like note to Ethel? Through,
I don't
like, through
believe
the
so.
ring? That was not
No.
established.
No, I believe there
Okay.
was.
So that was just wishful thinking. Great.
Oh, you're thinking of the. She's given him 2 rings now. She gave him a dream ring that let her pretty much track him,
Mm-hmm.
and that gave them a like little mental connection. But that was a manifestation of a spell. It wasn't actually an object, and it didn't last permanently.
So the only ring he has is the one that is suppressing his spider form,
Yes.
and that is the one that the shadow creature went into.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Eigner needs to think about this, and he's just going to like try and get up to his full strength as quickly as he can. He's gonna try and scrounge up some food and just really just get feeling healthy, and then he'll clear off a section of a table at the apothecaries, and then just set out a map of the town or something, and to say like, okay, what's our plan? And he just keeps eating.
Oh, we're talking about Onn's map of the main thoroughfare.
Maybe that's all we have.
That's a
And
good
that-
point. I don't think we did actually track
No.
down the proper map. But we were looking for the map to be able to track down the artifact. And our subsequent discussions with Ethel have revealed that it's in the crypt of
Prager.
Prager.
No, Pragan. Pragan.
Pragan.
That was the name you came up with, Drew.
Yep.
You even sent me the.
Yo, it's a bad day for names. We already established that.
Yep. You even told me how to like say it. It's right here.
Yep.
This is its. That's the phonetic of it.
Pragan.
There we go.
So,
Pragan.
so we need to find this Pragan fella.
Well, I suppose just simply asking one of the wandering townsfolk wouldn't go amiss.
Start with the apothecary.
Ooh, yeah. I shall chase after the apothecary.
All right.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
the
apparently still there if we're using his table.
Yeah.
We haven't left yet.
Yeah, we
No,
haven't
the
left it.
apothecary was at the Sven's head. You guys were at the end.
Oh.
Oh, okay, so then yeah.
Oh, okay. We're on Sven's head. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will
that's-
run outside and chase after the apothecary, and I shall simply shout, "Apothecary! Apothecary!"
He stops and, oh, it's you.
It is me.
What
It is always me.
can I do for you?
Yes. We require some information. You've lived here for quite some time, yes?
I have.
During that time, you've no doubt absorbed some of the local information. We wish to find a particular crypt. You being an apothecary, there must be lots of people that you've failed and have had to bury.
He raises an
I'm
eyebrow.
gonna start writing this down. I'm gonna start writing these things down.
Seriously?
That's it. Nope. I'm done with writing this stuff down.
Write it down. We need a whole page of these.
There are gonna be so many T-shirts.
Are you
Okay,
aware of one by the name of Ilsef?
I'm aware of the Ilsa family, yes. Which of them are you concerned that I have failed?
This one may have been a bit before your time. Someone called Pragan. We're looking for his crypt.
Oh, yes. Yeah, young Pragan is one of our town's guards.
Currently lives.
I do. I'm sure you can find him on duty. That probably would be the best way to go about it.
Quite so. Very good. Thank you very much, Apothecary. You've been most useful.
I'm glad to hear it. And he turns away and kind of shuffles a little bit faster.
I'll head back to the Sven's head and announce. I caught up with the apothecary. He proved to be useful after all.
Very well. So what did you learn?
We're looking for the crypt of a living person. Pragan appears to be a guard in this town.
Okay. Well, then I suppose we'll pack up and...
Is Pragan a first name or a last name? That's me asking them, not DM.
I believe it's a first name.
Okay. Is it possible then maybe Pragan the guard is a namesake?
Oh, that would make a lot more sense, yes.
Yeah. Yes, it would.
And it also stands to reason that someone would know the whereabouts of the crypt of their own family. Oh, that apothecary is very clever. Well done. Yes, let's go and find this new Pragan Ilsif.
All right. We shall pack up, and we shall try and find the nearest guardhouse.
The moment we get close to a guardhouse or any more guards, it will suddenly dawn on Onn that this is probably not the best idea for him to be talking at all, and will stand behind Eigner.
All right, yeah. You remember there being a guardhouse not too far from the city gate? I guess it'd be like a gatehouse at that point. Yeah, and you distinctly remember having passed it coming into the city. You may return there if you'd like.
Okay. We shall. I suppose Eigner will be taking point because Alton doesn't like to talk to big people, and Onn is a little shy guy right now.
I am going to. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be kind of at Eigner's side though when he's talking to them.
All right.
Yeah.
I get close to the guardhouse. Do I see guards outside, or are they inside, or?
Yeah, it's a nice warm day, so there's some tables set up outside under the awning of the guardhouse, and the guards are sitting like with their helmets and their as much of their armor as they can take off reasonably, just sitting at the table, relaxing, playing games, and just kind of bantering.
Do any of them look familiar?
Yes, actually.
In a bad way?
Two of the guards look like guards you had seen at the gatehouse when you entered the city,
Oh,
and the other
God.
two you haven't seen before.
So the ones that Onn charmed,
Potentially.
potentially. Okay.
Let's see how good you guys are remembering faces. It's
We will see. Okay. Okay.
all four of these guards just so happen to be the same guards that accompanied Alton. There's 3 or 4 guards that accompanied Alton to vampire slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the 4 guards who accompanied you to the vampire slaughter fest that happened.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they know of us. So in that case, I will be approaching and immediately trying to diffuse any tension that is in the situation.
Yeah, they all kind of look up and
Hail there!
hello.
Hello.
Says one of them.
I would introduce myself and my companions, but I believe you are familiar with us. First, I want to apologize for the immense ruckus that we have caused. And I wish I had more time to be able to give you a full picture of what exactly has been happening to us in the confines of your fair city. But essentially, we have one thing we need to do here before we can leave, and we would greatly appreciate your help.
We would like to rifle through your
so.
sacred dead grounds.
On.
Ugh.
Give me
Yes?
give me a moment.
Oh yes, of course. My apologies.
I'm making a check. Oh, really? Don't.
Yep.
No. No.
Yep.
Oh, you.
So
Oh,
I just asked him to
bastard.
make a persuasion
Oh.
check, and as soon as On spoke, I said, with disadvantage.
No, on.
Uh,
Oh, you're killing me, dude. Well, I'll give you the number anyway,
Please do.
but it's not gonna be the hottest. How's a 3 strike you?
It strikes me as hilarious. All right.
Oh,
So the
God.
the guy you were talking to was nodding, like kind of taking in what you're saying, and then On pops over. We'd like to rifle through your dead, and he just got stone faced and looks at you all and says, "I don't know what kind of joke you're playing in my town, but since you've arrived, it's been nothing but chaos, and I'm pretty sure I've told you that before. Now,
Here's
wanna
the
go
thing.
through our
You've
dead?
seen what we've been doing, right? And things like flying fucking heads and vampires and I don't know, giant. Well, I guess you didn't see the giant hellscape, but we saw the giant hellscape, which included this bozo slapping some random old guy. We've been going through some things, and this all goes somewhere. So when we say we need to rifle through your dead, it's for a reason, and that reason includes why there are vampires and flying heads.
Are you concerned that there are vampires and flying heads in our burial grounds?
I mean, isn't that where vampires and flying heads come from?
Not to my understanding.
Well, is your understanding including vampires and flying heads? Is that a thing that you come across normally?
Mm. You do have me there. Vampires, sometimes. Flying heads, that's new. But still,
Wait,
like,
sometimes vampires. I have so many questions that I feel like if I were to ask, that Eigner would get very impatient on. But I want to bookmark that for later.
he looks at his other soldiers, or his other guards, and alright, you need to go through our crypts to make sure that there aren't any more undead wandering around in them. Why you?
Well, and any artifacts that might cause undead.
I did tell these guards before, I believe, that we were deputized by the ISCB to do such things. So I'm going to say that again. We are deputized by the ISCB for to locate and remove any potentially hazardous artifacts in districts within its jurisdiction.
And kill things that have a result thereof.
Yes, and it's the nature of the beast. I apologize, but since we work in this manner, in this field, we do have strange things and misfortunes that follow us. But we must do our duty. We must be allowed to do so. And we can help each other. If you help us do what we need to do, then we'll help your town be safer by leaving, and all this chaos and these misfortunes that have befallen the city will leave with us.
All right. Well, you've got me at you leaving, so I can respect that. Let's see. Why don't we take a seat? Explain to me what your plan is, what you need, where you need to go.
Very well. Thank you for
He
your
shoots a
hospitality.
disgusting look.
Eigner will look at On and just reach his hand out and kind of grab him by the scruff of the neck like you would with a misbehaving cat or something, and just say like, "Just be quiet, On. Just be quiet. Just relax." And Eigner will, yeah, Eigner will sit at the table and essentially launch into the whole request about Pragan. Like, we have information that this Pragan Ilsef, is it? Is a person of interest that we have intelligence that has highlighted him as a person of interest in the case. We've learned that he is a town guard, and he is the first that we wish to question, if that is permissible.
All right, I would like Egner to roll me an insight check and Alton to roll me a perception check. As you guys are as you're laying this out.
Okay.
Okay. I'm doing it. Do you want the result, like, secretly, or, like, whatever?
No. You can
Okay. I got a 19 on
All
my
right.
insight.
24.
Okay, so you, as you're talking about this, and as you bring up Pragan as a person of interest,
Yup.
you, Agner, notice like the guy you've been talking with this whole time gets a very sharp look in his eye, and he's just studying you intently as soon as you bring up the name. And Alton, you notice that the other three guards, who've all given up their seats so that you guys could sit down and speak with this guy, uh, they've they've moved and kind of positioned themselves behind each of you, and they are slowly putting their hands on their sword hilts. And the guy gets kind of up in your face and goes, "So, what exactly do you intend with Pragan?"
Nothing malicious, I assure you. We merely need to ask him some simple questions and locate something.
Then why don't you ask me, and we'll see if I think these questions are worth his time.
Is Pragan not accessible to talk to? Or am I speaking to Pragan right now?
He smiles and says,
There is no Prigan, there's only Zool.
"Exactly. There's no Pragan, there's only Zool."
Well, that's
He
confusing.
says, "Let's just say I have a vested interest in keeping Pragan safe, and if you are a danger to him, I would like to know it now."
We are not a danger to anyone.
You say that, and yet you're in my town, and you've created dangerous situations, and one man has already lost his life. I need to know the information, and I'll decide if you're safe.
Very well. We need to find his family's tomb. Their crypt. We need to know where that is.
Give me just a second. All right. He sits back and says, "And what do you need with the crypt? Is this just one of the places that you think vampires are hanging out?"
It may be harboring a hazardous magical artifact. The consequences that this could have for the city, we don't entirely know, and that's the reason that we need to find this and analyze it, assess the risk, and see if we can remove it safely.
Yeah. As you're talking, Domni makes her way to like part of the porched area and starts drinking out of a bucket of water. One of the guards kind of like gives a bit of a half notice, the one closest, and then this man, he stands up and says, "All right, we can go. We can check out Pragan's family crypt. I know he'll give us permission to. Let's do that. All of us."
Um, I know you have an interest in keeping eyes on the situation, but you may want to consider for your own safety. We've had situations go south before. We've had explosions, uh, all sorts of disgusting stuff. If there's any of you here that have a family at home, you may want to stay behind.
Look, we've all seen you put down a vampire. The four of us have. We think you can keep us safe, but the fact is, we are guards in this town. It is our duty to defend it. If there is a hazardous object, as you say, we have a duty to help you deal with it. So, let's make this happen.
Very well. Lead the way.
And he does. He leads you through winding paths in the town. And this is further into the city than you've gone. Telsavin, that is the name of the city or town. Further into Telsavin than you have gone so far, since you guys pretty much have just gone through the main stretch of the town itself, and leading you back into one of the furthest dwelling areas in the city. You come to another of those dome-shaped homes. It seems kind of unremarkable, and then he leads you behind it, where there's pretty much just a mound that has a door attached to it, but it's like the mound itself is shaped with the same clay-like material as the rest of the buildings. The door is a strong metal door, and he, as he gets to the door, he takes out a key and unlocks the crypt, then turns to you all and says, "Well, how should we proceed? This is your shindig."
Eigner takes from his pack a fresh torch and starts to strike the flint and light it and says, "I'll go in first. Whomever wants to can go in after me, and we'll take it slow, and we'll just see what we can see."
All right. He pulls open the door, and there's a set of stairs leading down into just a dark chamber,
Mm-hmm.
and just this waft of hot air comes streaming from the door. It just smells of just must and decay. Not decay. Decay is the wrong word. Just more like stagnant air and dry bones. And there is a soft sound of whispering that carries up from the bottom of the stairs.
Who else hears that?
Uh,
That's Eigner saying that out loud. It's not Kyle saying it.
yeah, the dwarf who just opened the door, the guy who's led you here, he looks at you wide-eyed and says, "I definitely hear that."
Okay. Good to have a consensus.
I will get my blanket out and wrap it around my arm.
Okay.
Okay.
This dwarf draws
Seeing
his
everybody
sword.
kind of freaked out, I'm gonna pull out my my swords.
Mm-hmm.
This dwarf also draws his swords and turns to his other soldiers and says, "You three, I'd like you to stay here and guard this entrance."
Okay, so Eigner has his torch in his shield arm, which is still bandaged. He tried to get the chainmail over it, but it's only like partially covering it. But he's got the torch in that hand, he's got his sword in his other hand, and he's leading the way down the dark steps.
Okay.
I make a show of having Domini like whistle and be like, "Hey, come on, girl, come on," and like have her kind of make a show of her like following, like as if she's a not well trained dog.
Okay.
Mm,
Yeah, she plays to the show pretty well.
Yeah.
And what's the marching order going to be? The stairwell is wide enough for single person at a time.
Eigner first.
Okay.
Whoever else wants to be
I'm
next
gonna
can be
go
next.
last.
I think-
to kind of back cover for on.
I think the dwarf will be right behind you.
Okay, or behind Eigner or me.
Right behind Agner.
Okay,
In that case, I'll be behind. I'll be in between the
You're in the
dwarf
middle.
and Alton.
yeah.
At this point, we all know who this dwarf is, right?
Pragan?
I'm assuming so. He had the key to the crypt. So
Yeah. I would like to be able to use his name and description rather than the dwarf, even though you guys have failed to ask yet another name.
Well,
I actually didn't know. But
Well,
that's
he was
because-
being very cryptic about it because I asked, like, am I speaking to Pragan right now?
That's true. That's
yeah,
true.
and he was like, well, I have a vested interest in this guy. Like, yeah, very cryptic,
didn't
very
lie.
nice. Well,
He's
no,
got a
he
vested
didn't, but it was, like, cryptic. Like, I was asking, like, okay, whatever.
Mhm.
yeah,
So I'll say,
yeah. I think in character,
yeah,
we have very little interest in other people.
sure.
Really bad.
Well, let me ask Pragan a question. That'll, because I'm showing interest in him right now, and I'll say, do you experience creepy whispering in this crypt often, Pragan?
No, there shouldn't be anyone down here at all. And we have a lot of safeguards to make sure the dead don't come back.
When is the last time?
Again, so many questions.
When is the last time someone was interred here?
Let's see. My father died. That was about a decade ago, so no, at least 10 years.
The door has not been opened in 10 years.
Not from what I can tell.
Okay.
I don't have a family. There's nobody else who would be accessing this tomb but me.
It's a mystery.
Yes. And yet there is someone here.
Let's find out who it is.
All right. As you continue down, I need to hold on. I keep getting notifications for this chat thing, and I need it to stop because it's really distracting.
Don't get distracted, Asa. You're supposed to be the dungeon master.
There we go. Yeah, as you guys continue down the hall or down the stairs, the air gets cooler, and at the very bottom of the stairs, you can see faint flickering lights. The whispering is louder. It's two voices, a man and a woman speaking. You can hear like the cadence of the voices, but can't quite make out what's being said in the hushed tones. As you get to the bottom of the stairs, the room opens into a wide circular chamber, and alongside the walls are these cuts in the earth, and inside are mounds with cloth draped over them. And then etched in the earth next to them is dwarven runes. And Agner, looking at them, you can see that they're spelling out essentially names and
'Cause I can read dwarvish and stuff.
names. Some of them have little epitaphs and like just things that tell of their deeds.
So there are people named Ilsef in here.
Yeah, this is an Ilsef crypt for sure.
Yeah.
Ilsef is the family name.
Is the name Pragan showing up a lot in his ancestors? His ancestral line?
There definitely are a few Pragans for sure. Yeah, it's a family name.
Okay.
And this is just a single, like an entrance room. There are pathways off here and there. I think 3 in this particular room, including the one that leads upstairs. And in the center of this room is a brazier that's I think I'm saying that one right.
Mm-hmm.
That has a fire in the middle of it. That was what's casting the light up the stairs earlier. And coming to that, Pragan approaches that as you're kind of going and looking at the rooms, and he says, "This was recently lit."
So it has been. How could someone possibly get in here?
I don't know.
Do you have a lot of tunnelers in this town? You certainly have a lot of underground structures. What if there's a huge web of interconnected tunnels underneath all of this?
Like a warren?
Huh. I have not seen evidence of this, but again, I haven't been here in 10 years.
Well, show us around.
Yeah.
From what direction is the whispering coming from? Or
The
is
whispering's coming off the chamber onto the left side.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing you're gonna go that way.
What is in that chamber, Pragan?
That is going to lead to a few more rooms like this, but in that direction is where like, one of our greatest ancestors lies.
What made him so great?
The things that he was able to achieve. He was a marvelous general, and there are rumors that he might have assisted in slaying giants that posed a threat to the Twin Harbors and the surrounding dwarven areas. That was back in the barbaric days when the harbors were a place we dwarves didn't like to go.
Well, it's back to being a place where dwarves don't like to go, I hear.
Yes, I've heard troubling stories myself.
Giant Slayer wouldn't go amiss these days.
Pragan, this room, is it going to be a death trap? Is it too tight in there? Do we need to try and draw them out into into a more open space? Tell me something. I don't want to walk into this blind.
Yes, one of these chambers would be more accessible. The further we go back into crypts, the more the rooms tighten. The smaller a room, the more illustrious the one buried in it, or the ones buried in it are.
Very well. Alton.
Yeah.
We'll set up here, in a good position. I want you and Domney to go see what you can see, and hopefully get their attention and draw them.
Like draw them here?
Draw them here, or
Okay.
or I don't know. Just see if you can scout the situation first. If you really need to tell us something, you can try and tell us something. But I want to neutralize them if they look hostile.
Okay. So then, yeah, I jump on Domini's back, and we sally forth quietly, stealthily.
All right. Give it at their stealth check.
Yep, I just want to make sure that I have my.
And just out of character, just for full disclosure, Eigner is battered. He because we haven't had the chance to really take rests or do whatever. Unless you want to give me some hit points back for being at the apothecary at all, or if that's just the arm, that's cool. But
You guys could have taken a short rest for that.
oh really?
Yeah, that
Okay,
was.
well,
yeah,
that's-
yeah.
Well, that's perfect. In that case, I'll do some quick little schminga thinga ringa ding where I get stuff back, and then
Maybe that was.
yeah.
Okay. So stealth 20 total.
You make your way following the whispers. They are, as you make your way further and further back, you're seeing, the as Pragan had explained, the next chamber is a little bit smaller, not too noticeably smaller than the last one, and there are a few more paths leading off of that. And and as you keep following the whispering, the chambers get just a little bit smaller, and you go from having a room of like probably 20 bodies to about like 15 or 10, and then one with about 4, and then one with 2. And as you're getting to that chamber with only 2 corpses, you can see. And each of these rooms also has a brazier in the middle that is ignited. And as you walk by them, they seem like they flare up a little bit brighter, so that the room is fully illuminated. And as you walk into the next room, it seems like they dim down a little bit. You can hear the whispering in full force now, getting closer, and one of the voices sounds extremely familiar. And the other one is a man's voice you've never heard before. They are just you're in the room with two interred bodies. They are just beyond that. You can even, if you wanted to, like, go and look. I can tell you what they look like, or otherwise you can.
Yeah. Basically, just continue the stealth and just like angle myself so that way I can see them without whatchamacallit. Them seeing me, or at least like having them notice me, essentially.
Okay, and you can hear them talking now. You see them both in the room. There's a woman with her back towards you, facing what looks to be a large coffin made entirely out of stone, and next to her is this shimmering form of a man that's like swaying in bluish purple energies. His whole form seems to be slightly transparent. He is human, and so is the woman. And he's a good head taller than she is. And you can hear him saying, "You have seen it. They are here. You need to go and deal with them." And you can hear the strain in her voice, and she says, "But I don't want to. They aren't a threat to this plan of yours." And I don't know if you want to keep listening. I can keep making up conversation.
Well, wait, who did you say had the familiar voice? The woman or the man?
The woman.
The woman. So, can Alton recognize it? Like,
I mean, the only reason I haven't outright said who it is because all big people look the same to Alton.
yeah, I mean,
So-
like, use your powers of deduction, Alton, please.
Deduce.
Deduce things.
Yeah, okay. So I guess what would that be? Intelligence check?
I would give it to you on an insight if that made sense, or if that is something you can roll well.
Yeah. You got wisdom.
Yeah. I got it. I got wisdom. In fact, I'm proficient.
I'm trying to work out who this is, because human women are actually few and far between.
I mean, I don't want it to be Ethel, but it might just fucking be Ethel, but that's just me, like,
16.
not wanting it to be... Okay.
It's Ethel.
Ah! Of course it is. I had a sinking feeling.
It comes to your knowledge now, seeing the silhouette and the voice, that this is that woman that kept following Eigner around, and made him do stuff. And yeah, you recognize her voice in the back of her head, apparently.
You got it. Your character's got to know that Eigner wants to know that, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to think with what I want to do with that information. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to, because now I assume, whether I'm right or not, it doesn't matter, that this figure is her husband or whatever. And so do I have anything useful at all for this situation? Okay. Are there any animals nearby? Like any rats, any...
There are insects.
Okay, that's useless.
Yeah.
Is he within telepathy range of us?
Yeah,
What is telepathy range?
30 feet. It's not
No, it's
not
like
likely.
2 chambers
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, that's not likely. So, I am going to, with the crypts, so bad. They're like open crypts, or are they like,
Do you mean like as far as yeah, all the crypts have been like the doors have not been sealed, they're just open archways, and all the bodies are in side grooves essentially.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay. So I'm trying to think of how I want to. Oh yeah, because I can't do any of that crap. Okay, so this is what I want to do. I'm going to tell Domini to hide in, hide amongst the bodies, and I am going to I'm gonna go head back.
Okay.
And to basically I'm gonna tell him to, I'm just gonna tell him to hide there for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst one of the bodies, if you need me to roll a separate stealth check for him now, because he's now in a new stealth situation.
Yes. And Domini is a he?
Or
Yeah.
she.
She, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
was
thought
sorry.
it was a she too.
Sorry, that was my I was thinking about the glowing guy too much.
Uh-huh.
That's okay. That's all right.
Oh, God, what is her stealth? It's gonna be pretty fucking high though. It's 18 natural, so I'm assuming it's a.
Yeah, that's high enough.
So 24 total.
Yeah, you see as she gently and carefully squeezes herself into one of the little holes and is doing the best to not step on the corpse itself.
Good wolf.
Right. Yeah.
Mostly
Okay,
because
so
stepping on bones makes sounds.
Right, exactly. So then
She
I'm
did
gonna
want to snug herself in pretty easily.
yeah. So I'm going to then head back to them, everybody else, and kind of let them know what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. So, are you gonna telepathically do it, or like whisper it to us, or?
No, I kind of have to whisper it because I can only tell everybody telepathically.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
Okay, so
that's why there's a lot of code switching with me, is because if there's a group I have to talk, but if I'm talking individually, I'm talking telepathy.
for sure. Okay, so upon hearing the news that it's Ethel Vashun over in the other chamber, Eigner is going to go, "What? Inconceivable." And then he'll just get this look on his face where it looks like Alton just slapped him in the face. And he'll just drop the torch right there and then just start storming toward where Ethel is. And he's just fuming. Like,
I'm gonna tackle him as quietly as possible. I'm gonna tackle
Stealth tackle.
stealth tackle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
Opposing
but- so
athletics checks.
There's a couple of chambers back with
everyone.
Reagan and
Yeah.
So everyone's now back. So we all now know it's Ethel.
And Eigner is storming.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I will help in restraining Eigner to hold him back because no,
Hold me back, bro. Hold me back.
All right. So, whichever one of you with the higher strength would like to make the.
I'm assuming it's this guy. I have a 13 strength.
So make
I have a
somebody make a
9.
strength check with advantage because the other one is assisting.
That's me. Oh, nice.
Well, mine is not the
strength
hottest.
or athletics?
Athletics. It's an
Doesn't matter.
athletics track.
And yours is with disadvantage, Kyle.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Sure, remembered.
Mine's only 13. Okay,
All
so
right.
you succeed in holding me back, bro.
Okay,
Do
but
you swing by the legs? What happens?
I also need to. I'm assuming I also need to roll separate stealth check for taking him down stealthily.
Oh yeah. Definitely roll a stealth check. See how quiet this gets.
Oh, nice. 23.
Okay.
Like a ghost.
You see a space where the earth just seems softer, and you just go right for Agner's knees. And as a big person, you know that like you don't need to put full force into him. You just need to get him off balance.
Yeah.
And On comes up like behind you and gives Agner a shove from the top as you just tackle his knees and
Ugh.
positioning him so he lands in this soft pile of dirt.
Oh, with friends like these.
You land with a thud that's muffled.
And I'll start like just fuming at them and like in this whisper though, and be like, "You godless bastards,
I'm
let
gonna
me
shove
go!
his
God,
head
God,
into the ground.
no,
I'm
she's
gonna
got,
shove his
she's
face
got a
into the
lot
ground.
to answer for.
His face
She's
is
got
shoved in the ground.
Godless bastards!
Mummy, Daddy, stop fighting!
Okay, I want to shove his face in the ground. Where do I need to roll?
Dude, okay, you do it, man. Just let me get some fuming in, dude.
You with your face in the ground. Not letting you make that kind of noise.
This is why we need to do group therapy at the beginning of every session, guys. It's because shit like this. Are you
Right.
kidding me?
Um,
I would like to sort of whisper shout to Alton and Eigner while you're burying Eigner's face in the dirt. Eigner, we need to coordinate. Now, Eigner, you have the most emotional investment here. So you are going to feel the most put out if we don't involve you. Now, while it's mostly a token gesture, I believe that we will be best served by our lead tactician taking point in this situation.
I'll come up and go. I'm going to be honest with you. Half the time I don't even understand what you're saying.
What do you need us to do?
Let me go.
Yeah, that's not happening until you get your shit together.
Look,
Chill.
we need to talk to her.
Chill. Chill. Can you chill?
I'm chill.
Okay.
We need to talk to her. She's not going to hurt me, but she's obviously been
She's
keeping
gonna fucking
a
hurt
lot.
you.
No, she's not. No, she's not.
Whoever's with her, I'm thinking it's her husband or whatever. She's gonna follow him. She's got more
Did she bring her
emotional
husband into town?
investment. I'm assuming it's the case. He's got a problem. This is obviously out of character, right? I'm assuming.
Oh, no,
This sounds like oh.
It's an in-character thing. Onn is
Okay.
asking, did she bring her husband to town? I know
No.
her husband's probably dead and it's his ghost.
Right. So he was shimmery and blue or something, and she seemed more invested in helping him than doing her job. And okay, I get that you don't really get emotions, right? But the thing is that love will make you do some of the dumbest things possible. So she's willing to throw her entire life and career away for him.
I brought out this blanket so that if we were to, and I'll look over at Pragan, sort of huddle closer to Alton and Eigner to try and hush my whispers so that Pragan can't hear, provided he doesn't join the huddle.
He's been staring at this whole interaction very intently, and he's listening now to like the strategy of it. So if you do kind of huddle closer, he'll lean in like he's part of this conversation.
I was initially to take this blanket and hide the artifact as we stole it away from the crypt, since we were in fact duping Pragan here, no offense, into allowing us access to his family crypt so that we might remove a dangerous artifact from its keep. Since he's now here and in this dangerous situation with us, I believe that he wouldn't be so offended if we let him in on the fact that this is a dangerous thing. We didn't lie there, and we are going to remove it, so we didn't lie there.
No.
So where did you lie?
A very good question.
We didn't lie on. We
Course.
didn't lie about anything.
Nothing at all. That's very true. I propose that we still go ahead with my somewhat potentially misguided now plan of having Eigner distract Ethel by talking.
Yeah.
And I go and get the artifact by covering it with the blanket. And
Yeah. I mean, did you see it, Alton?
away.
Is it in there?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay.
But they are interested in an area which means to me that it's in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that sounds like a good plan to me.
I don't think that it's a bad idea that Eigner distracts by talking. I think that it's actually a good idea for him to be loud and boisterous.
Oh,
I just
I can
think
do
that
that.
it's-
Believe
Hey,
me.
hey, chill. Chill. Chill.
I'm chill. I'm chill,
Okay.
bro. I'm chill,
Okay.
bro. Bro.
Okay. Okay, bro. Okay,
Bro.
Chill.
I'm calm.
I think it's a good idea to be purposeful and detached when you do it, so you can control your anger and aggression that you unleash on her. So that way she's more distracted, because if you lose control, you can't control the level of chaos that you will cause. So if you can chill, you can go in there and cause havoc.
Oh, yes. I can be rational. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Control you can.
Sure enough.
Okay. Then we're good, and we'll let's go back and create a distraction and cause havoc.
So,
So listen, all facts that you've duped me into this particular conversation, even though I don't know how you've got what you guys are really, really confusing.
You have no
yeah,
idea.
you have no idea.
Look, get your stuff done and just take your problems somewhere else, please.
That's what we're trying to do.
Okay,
That's what
let's
we're
just
trying to do, okay?
let me make this clear. As soon as your problems are dealt with, go.
Oh,
Don't
we're gone.
Not even.
Don't worry about it. We're gone. We didn't
Good.
even like this town anyway.
Well, good. Because you know what? This town isn't like you.
Oh, I know that.
We just at this point we've just gone down to
No,
being
I've broken up
fifty.
with you.
We're all being as petty as we possibly can be.
No, you know what?
That's just-
You were never my friend in the first place. You guys didn't even bother asking me my name. You were just mean about it.
Oh my god. All right. So, I suppose
Okay.
we should nail down with some
What is-
specificity exactly.
What am I supposed to be doing in all this nonsense?
Oh.
I could bring my men in. We could do anything we need. Just
I think you should pull back, alert your men to the situation, and maybe bring them quietly down to the base of the stairs, but not any further, and just listen. And if things really truly go haywire, we would appreciate the backup. But we have no idea what we're walking into here. We have a plan, but have no idea how successful it might be.
Yeah, we're
Pretty-
totally professionals at plans that we don't know about success rates.
Yep.
Does Tulsaban have a town augur, diviner, or perhaps even a wizard?
Oh, there's an old man who does a lot of curing and healing.
Oh, we've seen him already.
Hmm He
Yeah,
does a
so
bit,
I
he does a bit of divining on his off time.
oh, it appears he may have two uses. Um, yes, it occurs that we are summoning your men from up above down below in the circumstance that things don't go well with Eigner's conversation with Ethel. It also occurs that Ethel is an accomplished magician herself. I am a little concerned that perhaps we are attempting to fight fire with something that is not suited to fighting fire.
You're all the fire I need on.
Bring the
Sorry.
burn!
I'm sorry. Sorry. Get this weird twitch in my eye. Yeah.
Actually, you know what would be the most useful? Do you guys have any contacts with this ISCQ? What is it? IS...
It's Alton Xnan no. Okay, so what's the distraction that you guys are gonna
No,
do?
that's
No,
our whole
I'm
premise
doing
coming
the
down here.
distraction.
At White. Okay, whatever.
So okay, so the plan is I'm going to go talk to Ethel. What are you? Pragan is going to go alert his men, bring them down. Just so we have backup. Are you two just going to hang back, or you're going to go
No,
look for? Can you go look for the orb? Can you scout the rest of the crypt?
Yeah, we're going to. So you are going to go in there and preferably distract them slash, like maybe even like shift their attention in a different direction.
Oh, okay.
entirely.
All right, so you can go through.
Onn is going to go searching, and I am going to wait out in the crypt just next to it, so that way, whenever things inevitably will fall apart, because it's us, then I will be able to jump in and then help take care of whatever situation that we come across.
Okay, it's a plan then.
Yes.
It's a plan.
Yes.
All right.
And it's a plan that's perfect timing to go on break for.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. Cool.
Mhm.
Let's do that.
So, yeah, we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Please stick around for the thrilling conclusion of the conclusion. We'll have all these questions answered. Will Eigner and Ethel figure out their relationship problems? Will Onn roll anything new on the wild magic table? And
will there actually be answers to any of these questions?
Yeah, I have no idea, but stick around and we'll hope to see you soon. We will be right back.